How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Forever Arsenal podcast. You know what to do first and foremost. Hit the like button, 1,000 likes nice and early. We're back every week in the summer, obviously. When the season starts, we'll be back around every single game, previews, reviews, all of that. And we're back as a collective before Jordan flies out to Germany. But we're going to get into that shortly and the Euro stuff shortly and the stars of the show shortly, which happen to be Arsenal players at the moment. Which Arsenal players, I'm sure you know. But we're going to talk about it all. Lee, James, Jordan, how are you lot? All good?
All good.
Where's the energy?
We're all down to one.
Amazing. I'm amazing. Everything like the Euros, the weather, it's all great.
Lee, what did you just say? I didn't hear you with the 2 thumbs up.
All down to one each. That's all that matters to me in the Euros at this moment in time.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
One team left.
You got
James
Teams have
has
gone.
Spain. I've got France. Jordan has Netherlands, and Lee has England.
Oh wow, that has worked out really well.
That is mad. That's
Worked
mad.
out really well.
Yeah, it has.
Of course, Turkey and Switzerland could have messed up the party and made it a charity bet, but unfortunately,
Oh God, yeah. Thanks for that.
Turkey and Switzerland lost.
You must want to get kicked off this podcast.
You honestly had an interview the whole
You
time.
must want to get
Yes,
kicked
yes,
tournament.
yes.
We can replace you, Lee. You know.
What have I said now? What have I said now? Just it's just down to the 4 favourites, and
All
listen,
of a sudden, this guy's supporting England like this. I can remember last tournament, he didn't even want to celebrate. Now look at him, chuffed in the semi-final.
I've always celebrated, but
It's because Kane's having a stinker, so he's enjoying it. That's what it is.
drop him. No, I'm enjoying it. I think
you would have preferred an England-Turkey semi.
100%. I would have preferred that. I would have preferred that because we'd have had a slightly easier run at semi-final. I did because that would have been wicked. That would have and as painful as it is to say this, like Spain deservedly should be there. I don't think the other 3 teams deserve to be there. I really don't.
Agree.
Holland come third in their group.
Holland maybe.
Third in their group.
No, you're right.
Should have been out. Should have been home.
You're right.
Straight away.
No, but they've got better through the group stage. They've actually kicked into gear. I'm waiting for England to kick into gear, to be honest.
Yeah, I get that. But you know what I'm saying? France, well, the only reason they're still in this competition, do you know the only reason they're still in this competition? Because he's got them. Because he up there's got them. Because they've been absolutely woeful. But he has got that little bit of luck when he's not through in Turkey. Like, do you know what I mean? That's the only thing. I told him to stay at home. I said to Turkish, stay at home, son. Stay at home. Don't go Germany. But he had to go. He's only been twice. They've won 3, lost 2. The one.
1, 2, yeah. Each time. Yeah.
Did you enjoy Turkish? You must have had a great time despite the results.
Of course, if I wanted to go see wins, I would have gone to see Georgia, I would have gone to see Czech Republic, or maybe even Austria. I want to see a big scalp, and obviously Portugal didn't happen. Netherlands nearly, but it is what it is. In terms of the experience, it's the best up there, top 3 best experiences I've ever had. It was crazy.
It looked fun. Must admit,
it was so good. It was so. I could only imagine what it would have been like if we won, especially in Berlin with the heavy Turkish population. But it was still.
On that point as well, I'm a journalist, and I'm going out tonight. But I would have much preferred an England-Turkey semi-final.
Yeah.
It's just more interesting. I just don't think England-Holland is a particularly interesting game. But England-Turkey, that doesn't happen very often. As you mentioned, the population in Germany, that would have been like a massive carnival atmosphere. But even from the UK, there have been a lot of Brits, Turkish people who live in England who'd have gone out from that game. It'd have been so much more interesting than England-Holland. But
well, I will say that while I think England-Turkey would have been a fantastic tie, I do think the Netherlands and England are really well matched up. I don't know who the favourite is for that game. Yes, on paper, because of the players, people would say England, but I think Netherlands have got closer to an acceptable performance level than England this tournament. I think when you look at their back 4, you could argue for it being the best at the tournament. the likes of Van. I mean, the centre back options they got are phenomenal. What? Disagree?
That was magic. That was.
What happened there?
It was magic. What that was.
Yeah, I know. Something on your side, definitely, because it just cut you out.
Just sweet. It was like a swishing sound.
Don't worry, man.
Yeah, like
you was on your broomstick.
Yeah.
I'm lost. Nothing happened on my end. Can you see me?
Yeah, we can see you. We can see you. It just cut out for a bit audio wise. You'll see it after when you watch it back.
That's really weird. Okay. Anyway, I think England-Netherlands is a good matchup, actually. But yeah,
it is.
Who's your?
I will say their fans have been brilliant.
Who's favourite to go through? Do you think? Just for you guys, not like officially favourites, but who are you fancying?
I think England win.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it ain't Turkey. It's an England versus France final for me. Me and Turkish going head to head for the battle, I'm afraid.
We'll have that. We'll have that. But listen, let's not look forward because we need to look back a little bit, and we need to look back at how England have made it to the semi-final, because that how happens to reside in North London, the red side of North London. And, the back pages might not have addressed it. They might not have used his picture this time, but Saka is the reason that England did take it to penalties in the end. And, also bagged his penalty amongst the 5 quality penalties with Jordan Pickford making a save as well. But Saka, I mean, anytime he's knocked back, anytime there's a cloud over him in terms of media or fan presence, he just knocks it back out of the park. Every single time so far in his career, he's knocked it back out of the park. I mean, we've talked about him a hell of a lot on this podcast and in general as Arsenal fans over the years, but he's only getting better and better. What a finish. What a finish. Like, we've seen that for Arsenal many times, but what a finish. And I'm surprised more ain't talking about it. Even on the Big Six yesterday, listen, he was the thumbnail, he was the title, but I just allowed, the others to talk to see if they'd mention him, and not many mentioned him.
Funny, isn't it?
The passing comment, Saka saved us, but there's not much conversation about it. But Saka was the hero. He was the hero. Am I wrong?
No, a lot of conversation when he was not performing or like they all were. I know like Jordan is a bit into the old pundit side of it and all that, but I can't watch them no more. I end up swearing at them and everything like that. Oh, Saka's great and all that. Like, I wasn't saying that a week ago. You know what I mean? All changing. Never backed him. Oh, got to get Cole Palmer in the side. Got to do this. Cole Palmer this. Cole Palmer that. Got to get him out. Got to play him at left back. Try and do this. Try and do that. And it was getting a little bit. And I've backed him. I've backed him all the way. I hate it now when people on the TV going, oh yeah, he's great, well class. We always said he was well class. No, you didn't. You actually wanted him not playing in this team, and that is a fact. That I see all. They put all. Oh, what's your favourite 11 for this week? Like, a lot of them put Saka out of the team. A lot of them, but he come up trumps. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to be really honest with you. I've never celebrated an England goal as passionately and as strong as when Saka scored that goal, because I did think we was going out first and foremost. But when he scored it, I went absolutely mad. And I don't think I've ever been as nervous watching his penalty than any other penalty. Like, for an England shirt. I go back to Euro 96 and whatever, like, it was high tension stuff. But that penalty, when he was taking it there, all I want, I didn't care what happened after that or what was going. All I wanted him was to score, and when he scored it, bang! Thank you very much. Well done, Bukayo. And not just because he's an Arsenal man. Well, basically, yes, it is. Let's be honest, it is. But I just think that he's a top player, top person as well, and I loved it as well. As I think James alluded to earlier, blah blah blah. I loved all that sort of thing because he has been getting it. He's been England's best player for the past 3 seasons. I think it's 12 man of the matches he's had or whatever, something like that. He's been brilliant for England, and they didn't deserve the disrespect that he got. But what a finish. And we will go on now to the final thanks to that goal, because I did think we was out. Honestly, I thought, I'm going to be really honest. I think you said this, James, that you said that Switzerland were a very, very good side. They were a fantastic team. I thought they were really, really good. And I thought were far better than England on the day. I thought they were really, really good. And sometimes it had to be a little bit of magic that wins you that game. They carved us open. We had to find a little bit of magic. And that is the thing with this England team. I think that we have 3 or 4 players that can just do that little bit of magic. And that's why we're keeping it tight. And that's why I think England will go through against Holland.
Yeah, I think Saka. Oh, go on. No, who came in?
I just want to ask Jordan something based off of because we both alluded to me and Lee about the maybe criticism and then the lack so far of the praise from that moment and the performance overall, to be honest. But Jordan, even last show, I think when Lee was talking about something along these lines, in terms of when we Arsenal fans sometimes talk about referees against us, or is it because he's an Arsenal player that the pressure is this much and so on? Do you think any of that plays a part in Saka? Because listen, I say it all the time. Maybe people are tired of it, but I'm not an England fan, so I'm just a neutral here in this. Obviously, I support the Arsenal players in the team, but as a neutral, I do see that Saka is always the one that if it's not going well, it's his name that's on the chopping block. But if it does go well, his name really goes under the radar in terms of he's won the last couple of best player awards and whatnot, but his performances over the last couple of years and not just couple of years, couple tournaments, his play shouldn't be up for debate in England's side, but it always seems to be. Is that because he plays for Arsenal? Obviously, there is pressure and elements that come from the media that have been deemed racial for sure. 100%. We know the history of the media and black players in particular, and a lot of fans out there. But also playing for Arsenal seems to bring this extra pressure that comes. I don't know. Am I wrong? Am I deluding myself?
The Arsenal thing first. I don't know if the criticism that he does get, and I don't think it's as much as you and Lee are saying he gets, but Lee's right. There were some pundits that were saying they would take him out and they would drop him. And to be fair to them, the person they would say they would drop him for has had a red hot season. They're not saying drop him for bloody, I don't know, who's an English right winger that's rubbish.
Aaron Lennon.
Yeah. They're not saying, a little bit, but you know what I mean? They're not saying drop him for someone that's a dud. But I don't think that the criticism is more so from professional pundits compared to Arsenal. Maybe amongst the Mandem and other rival fans, ask anyone that's an Arsenal player they're going to go for. But I do agree with you, Turkish, in that the last 2-3 tournaments, a Pickford aside, he's probably been England's best player, right? He's been better than Kane. He's been better than Sterling. He's been better than Bellingham. He's been better than Stones. He's been better than Maguire. He's made all of England's players that spanned those 2-3 tournaments that he's played in. So I don't think his position should be up for grabs. It's the reason why I wasn't really for him moving to left wing back. Not because I didn't think he couldn't do it, but I'm like, hang on a minute. He's the one shining light you've got that's actually playing okay. Yeah. He wasn't playing brilliant, but of everybody's level, his was the highest. So hang on, you're going to move the one good thing about your team. That's stupid for me. So I didn't agree with him moving or being dropped for sure, but I don't really know about the criticism he gets because he plays for Arsenal. What I do want to respond to is the point that you've made about Saka the person, right? We'll chat about Saka the player in a second, and we know how good he is. We watch him every single week. But let's just go back to the Euro 21 final, and let's factor in how old he was then, stepping up for what was a big penalty at home Euros. He misses it. We saw the racism that he suffered, along with Marcus Rashford and Jadon Sancho, who, by the way, Jadon Sancho's Instagram story, I don't know if you saw it, referenced the fact that penalty was for him and Marcus. I don't know if we should be talking on behalf of other people, but whatever. I love that. And then I know the four of us all said that summer, I remember us all saying, this is not going to derail Saka, because we all know Saka is built of something different. That was an awful, a disgusting, a horrible experience that he went through. But none of us really felt that he would go the other way and dip. In fact, if anything, since then, he's had 3 solid seasons where he's got better and better and better. So Saka the person, I think, deserves a lot of credit. I love him. I love how everyone else loves him. But I love how he conducts himself. I love that he plays for my team. I love that he's a black player. I love that he's a talented player. And for me, when he stepped up to take that penalty on the weekend, like the other 4 players, then about you guys, I wasn't worried. I wasn't that worried. I wasn't that nervous because all 5 of them are players that take pens for their clubs. But also, I think England players generally treat penalties differently. They take it more seriously. This whole saying that I hate, you know me, James, I hate cliches. Penalties are a lottery. It's a lottery. I've never bought into that line. I've never bought. No, it isn't. People say that who are from nations who lose shootouts. Yeah, let's have it right. I never hear Germans say it's a lottery. Why? Because they have the mentality and the technique to get it done. They've lost a few shootouts, but they don't blame it on it being a lottery. So I had faith that Saka and the other 4 would score their penalties because I thought they take it, as everyone else does now, more serious. But going back to Saka, I love him. And the media loves him. And as a black person, guys, the fear for me is that they love him until they hate him. Right? They love him when it's all going well. He's a star boy. He's got a great goal. He's the reason England are still in this Euros. But if you miss the penalty against Holland and they go out, you best believe the love ain't going to be there then, because we know how this game goes. So as much as I want to praise Saka and I want to protect him and I love him, he's my guy, I'm also fearful that this love is conditional. It's conditional. And I think we as Arsenal fans, black, white, whatever race or colour we are, we have to support him, one, because it's the right thing to do, but also because he's our boy. He's our boy. And whether he misses an open goal or scores the winner, he is our boy. We can criticize him when he plays poorly. No issue with that at all. But we know that we've got something special here, not only as a player, but as a person too.
James, I mean...
Yeah.
Bang on. And I think Saka's celebration kind of falls in line with what we were talking about just now.
Yeah, I thought what happened in that game was it Saturday? Saturday evening we played them.
Saturday night.
That was a big day for him.
It was.
It wasn't just the goal and the penalty. His overall performance was phenomenal.
Yeah.
He was doing it at right wing back, a position that might go under the radar how often Arteta actually uses him there. Because out of possession, when we drop deep, he has to get really, really far back, not only to track fullbacks getting up the pitch, but he actually sometimes has to tuck in between White and Saliba just to follow an underlap. So the amount of defensive work he does in those areas of the pitch, it's not alien to him. To Southgate using him in that way, just to tweak the system, was actually, dare I say, quite clever from him, because he basically went, I still want that 11 out there, but let me just tweak it slightly to get Trippier a little bit higher up the pitch, we have a little bit more width, and Foden into areas a little bit more comfortable with. Saka can ultimately do in possession what he does so well anyway. And he rose to it, to tweaking his position and what he had to do, but he was brilliant. He was England's best attacking outlet. I thought this was his best performance since the opening day. Not that he was bad in the other games, but I just felt those two were the standouts for Saka, and probably for England, but probably England's 2 best performances as well. And not that we were amazing at Switzerland. And then when he had to go to left wing back, another moment that definitely kind of registered in my mind was when Switzerland looked like they were in at the back post, and Saka sort of charges back a left wing back I think out for a corner, because it's what we were saying on the last podcast. Southgate trusts him. Arteta trusts him. He's going to track back. He's going to do everything else. And that's not going to deny him having the moment he did for the equaliser, which was basically saying, let me cut inside and take responsibility, because he always takes responsibility, Saka. He always says, I will do it. Like, leave it to me. And it doesn't always go his way, but more often than not, he does. I think it's a really interesting conversation about whether he's like not as rated as he should be. And we were talking about it on the England preview coming out on AFTV. And there's quite a few theories as to why. I think one of them, and I don't think any one is the main reason, but maybe playing for Arsenal and all that. I mean, I did find it quite funny how Calafiori was like the reincarnation of Maldini, with the headband and the 90s defender. And the minute he's linked with Arsenal, all I see getting shared is his injury record, which, by the way, hasn't affected him for the last 2 seasons. So little things like that, I go, okay, I do sort of see that kind of online Arsenal thing at times. But with Saka, I think, and I think I might have explained it better on the preview, but the fact he hasn't got one standout trait that you know him for almost goes against him in terms of the way he's kind of perceived. I think he is so good, borderline elite at everything. but it's not like there's not like one standout trait. If you're making a comp of Saka, there's so many things you could include. If you're making a comp of Ousmane Dembele, he's throwing in step overs and this and that. You know what I mean? Things that make you go, wow. Doku, wow. You look at him, you're like, it takes you 10 seconds to know he's a very good player there. Saka's a lot more efficient in everything he does. It's like, I don't really need to, like, I don't need to convince you. I'm just going to put it in the back of the net. Do you get what I'm trying to say? There's something about him that is a bit more efficient. And that's not to take away from his flair and his brilliance. He's got pace, he's got trickery, but it's actually just, he just gets the job done. And I know that doesn't sound like praise, but I mean it as praise. Can anyone help me find the words to explain what I'm trying to say?
No.
I can't, but I know what you mean.
I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. But I don't know why
I will say one thing just before. I've always slagged off Gareth Southgate, but he's backed Saka. Didn't listen to the rumblings of what was going on and that, and so I'll give him credit for that, like, you know. But I know what you're saying there, James. I think that he's reliable, isn't he? He's not like. Even
then, it sounds like you're downplaying it, and I'm not.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like the defensive side of it, I think he's taken.
Can I give you a scenario? Right, he's this bloody thumbs up thing. I need to somehow disable that. Right, if Saka's 1-on-1 with the fullback, I don't think he's going to throw in 5 step overs and go one way, then cut the other, and you're sat there going, "Wow, he's ruining him." I think he's just going to go down the line and get it in the box. Like, that's what I mean. It's like he's just more effective. He gets more goals than most wingers. He gets more assists than most wingers. He works harder than most wingers. His position, his intelligence. He might not try things all the time. Why? Because he knows that the pass is the better option. He's a very intelligent footballer. And I can't find the word. I want to say efficient, but again, it just feels like I'm downplaying his quality. And some people might listen to this and go, "What, you're saying he doesn't have flair? You
see what you just sorry to cut in. I'm gonna play devil's advocate here because I agree largely, but at the same time, James, you gotta understand my idea of a winger growing up, and this ain't me criticizing because modern day football has changed. And for what modern day football is now, Saka is great, and we also have seen him pre last season take on defenders a lot more, beat defenders one-on-one, cut in, cut out, go past 2 players. So I'm not saying Saka can't do this, but
no, neither am I.
Sometimes these systems and whatnot, because you said, you know, he doesn't maybe face up and because there's a better pass on. But a lot of the time in modern football, this pass from a winger is back inside to go back round to reset, where sometimes that freedom to express makes a winger the builds a winger's legacy as well. How many great wingers in the last 20-25 years have been built off of the fact they can take defenders on one-on-one? And again, me criticizing him, this is me because I know he can do that, but it is frustrating that we don't get to see it as often as I would like anyway.
Go on,
I'll tell you what though, he gets doubled up a lot, and I think that's the intelligence of him. Like, you know, he gets doubled up. Even with England, he gets doubled up. But he doesn't go and take those players on. Every time he gets doubled up, if he is being doubled up, you're right, James. He plays the right pass. He plays it inside. Doesn't lose it. Doesn't take the man on and go down a cul-de-sac and we lose the ball.
I'm really sorry I cut you there because this just jumped into my head, but it was off to that sentence you just said, right? How often does Raya go long, not to a 6'3" striker, but wide to the touchline where Saka is, where he's pinned the defender, taken a touch, and he's rolled it into Erdegaard or into White? That doesn't make the comps. No one's like clipping that up and putting it in like over a season comp of everything Saka did great. But he just got us from the goal kick to the final third, by being strong, having a good first touch. And it's not as like, it's not the kind of play you associate with like amazing wing play, but everything he does is right. Everything he does has impact. And I'm just trying to think of these examples where I think the great example, like I think I just mentioned, is Doku. If you watch the comp of Doku, you're kind of sold immediately. But you watch a whole season of him, you go, well, hold on. Actually, he beat the man, but who did that get to? And his numbers weren't that great. And actually, he was out the team a lot. So you watch a comp and you're like, wow. But with Saka, there's so much more to him that maybe isn't as like rivals don't just pick it up as quickly. I think that's maybe the way I'm trying to phrase it. And I think because what happened with Ian Wright, I'm trying so hard to make it really clear. I'm not criticizing. I mean this all as an absolute compliment to him.
Am I bugging? Or has anybody ever seen Saka do a step over?
No, I think he has, but like it's not a go-to trick of his. But he
Yeah,
does.
I can't think of him doing step over.
If he does one or two just to set the ball up on his left foot before he crosses it into the box. He'll do that.
I just make the point because to your point about him being efficient, I think it's a great word. You don't see Saka doing all the madness. He just drops the shoulder, beats his man, or just taps it and goes. He doesn't need all the frills and spills to be an effective winger. And I love him. He's someone that next year I hope to see goes to the next level. The next level is, I think, 5 more goals, 5 more assists. I think you guys and Arsenal fans talk about his numbers as being like phenomenal and amazing. I don't think they're phenomenal numbers. I think they're very good numbers. You go into the Salah bracket, we're talking phenomenal numbers. So that's what I want. That's the next phase for me. But also being the guy. I want Saka to be the guy next season, as opposed to a talented young player. I want him to be like the guy. No, I'm the problem here.
How does he become the guy for you?
Well, I say I want him to become the guy. There's another player that I want to become the guy. We'll discuss, I'm sure, during pre-season. But I think he becomes the guy in potentially getting the balance of being a really nice guy, but on the pitch, don't mess with me. Don't play around with me. Don't think you can get a couple of cheap ones, keep cheap fouls on me and get away with it. I will hurt you. I will punish you. And I will laugh at you when I burn you and score. I'll rub your head. I'll look back. I will. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'll be that guy. That for me is the next level. It's no more nice. When the referee does something wrong, there's no, all right, ref, fine. No, let him know. Within reason, within the law, keep it respectful, but let him know. Being the guy is, I'm not here to play games anymore. Yeah, I'm angry now. I'm a nice guy. I'll still don't lose that essence. That's because that is the man he is. But when I'm on the pitch, I'm here to win a Premier League. I'm here to win a Champions League. Yeah, and I'm going to drag my team by hook or by crook to the major trophies. That for me is the guy. The guy that says, I'm not just going to get good numbers. I'm going to blow you all out the water.
Do you think 100%, and I agree with the character thing as well, that you have to have a balance between it all. But do you think Arteta allows that? Do you think Arteta, because there's a bit of, in that sort of a player, sometimes you don't listen, instruction won't allow you to step out there to try grab the ball.
It's a good question. It's a very good question. I don't know is the answer. Maybe Arteta does like a type of profile of person, and maybe going a little bit rogue, and maybe throwing your arms around a little bit, and maybe biting back at the referee, and maybe taunting your opponent isn't the type of player Arteta wants. You could be right. But I think the next level looks like that for me. It's not being... Saka's a nice guy. Saka's a nice player that does really well. To go to Ballon d'Or level, to go to... No. When you chat about the Premier League, we're not talking Salah, we're not talking KDB, we're talking Bukayo Saka. I think that is what's potentially missing.
I agree.
Do you think he's starting to break out that a little bit? I mean, when he was asked about Ian Wright's suggestion at left back, he said, I love Wrighty, but I don't think that's a solution. I think a really nice guy reply is, I'll do whatever the team wants. But he kind of was like, I don't think that's a solution to move me out of position. He's then asked about it again in another interview, and he actually looked a bit pissed off about being asked. And he was like, look, ultimately, Southgate's the manager. Like, he was quite short in his reply, I think, if I'm remembering it right. And then he does the blah, blah, blah thing, which was that after he scored his equaliser or the penalty or at the end of the... I can't remember when. I'm not sure when he did that bit. But again, is that again him going like, I'm ignoring the noise? Like, what are you all chatting about? I just wonder if he's starting to, I don't know, think, right, it's time to add that to my game. And actually, I think Arteta would love that. I think Arteta actually does like players that have a bit of... Is needle the word? Like,
why? Because there's no examples of that.
Because he was himself. And actually, I think there's loads of examples of that. I think Gabriel, Ben White, Rice, Granit Xhaka, like these players are not ones to... Kai Havertz, what the Kai Havertz has done 10 out of 10. It's been a complete rattler since he arrived at Arsenal. Like, I think Arteta does actually like that kind of personality. Ramsdale maybe went too far the other way, but I think he did. He would have known he had that character, and now he's opted for someone who's a little bit more tranquil and less, doing the back and forth with the fans. But I think, and Arteta, like I said, I think Arteta had that in him. Arteta wasn't one to shirk a tackle or a little bit of confrontation. He wasn't the biggest, but I don't know, I think he did like that side of the game. So, I think Arteta is up for that for Bukayo Saka.
Yeah, I think he's primed for it as well. I mean, if there's any player that you look at over the last couple of years and what they've done in terms of breakthrough, carry, be reliable, be efficient. He's one of the top 3 at Arsenal year in, year out. He's one of the top 3 for England year in, year out. I think, if couple that with what Jordan said, and you get that ruthless streak, you get that side of you that's a bit more selfish. You could pass it, but fuck it, I'm going to bend it into the top corner, and you become that man. And I think, go for it. It's primed for you now.
Sorry, I keep cutting you, but I wonder how Europe talks about Bukayo Saka. I'd love to know how. No, well, that's why I was questioning, because loving him is one thing, but that plays into my point about him being a nice guy. Everybody loves Bukayo Saka. Everyone loves him.
I meant,
but do they rate him? Do they think, no, he's a nice guy? You look that little number 7 guy. Yeah, he's cute. He scores a couple goals. Or do they talk about him the way we talk about Williams? The way we chat about Musiala? Do you know what I mean? Do they chat about him like that? Do they rate him like that?
Musiala's different, I think. Like Williams, no.
When Saka was brilliant in the World Cup quarters against France, I remember, I think it was L'Equipe or whoever. There's one publication that are insanely harsh with their rating.
Yeah.
I think it's like anything we'd give a 6, they'd give like a 2. I think Saka was rated very highly in that game by French media, and I think. Just when I speak to my Italian family who are all Inter Milan fans, Saka's definitely the name they know. I don't know. I think there's no thumbs up. Why is it doing this? There isn't. I think that's starting to happen for sure. I think he is being talked about as Arsenal's main man. I think.
Do you know the comparison is, or the example is Bellingham? Bellingham went from being a young, talented prospect to now Bellingham's chest is fully out. He's fully out, and he's saying, because they're both still very young. I think we forget how young Saka still is. Saka's still
personalities, no, Jordan.
But that's my point, Lee. I'm saying, does he need to adopt that type of personality? Maybe he doesn't. But I'm just giving an example of someone that is bring it on, let's go.
I'm a massive Jude Bellingham fan. I really like him, but I can see him getting a lot of hate and a lot of things going against him because of the way he is and everything like that. Don't get me wrong, I like it, but I think there's a little bit of arrogance about him, a little bit of cockiness, and I've seen him leave his foot in and do little things and all that, and I think, I don't know if I like that. I like that.
I like it.
Yeah, but a lot of people won't like that. Do you know what I'm saying?
You know why I think it's slightly different, yeah? Because I agree with Lee. I think if there's a scale of the balance between arrogance and humbleness, I think Saka's at the bottom end of the scale, so humble, and Bellingham's now at the other end of the scale in terms of his arrogance. Who else? And in an interview saying, all of this, very. But I feel like Saka's been going through the years humble, and he still gets pelters left, right, and center. So if his arrogance comes through now, it's well within his right. He's carried England, not carried, but he's been a key player. England, Arsenal, you still criticize me. My role's still up. Nah, fuck all that. Whereas with Bellingham, it's kind of come from, everyone's been praising you all these years at the move to Dortmund, the move to Real. It's been all going well. And then all of a sudden, this kind of side of you comes out when it's not going well for England. I think it's two different ways to look at it. With Saka, I think he's well entitled to show a bit of arrogance now.
That's a great point you make there, because there was that moment when they made a mistake with the number 10, didn't they? Do you remember that? They was meant to be number 40. They put number 10.
Oh, yeah.
He turns around to the ref, and he wasn't having a performance where you can turn around and go, that's a mistake, but he did. He turned around and said, wow, no, that's wrong. I don't know if Saka would do that. I think Saka would have seen the 10 up, seen the 7 up, and would have started walking off. Mm-hmm. That sort of arrogance, it's bordering on whether you like it or not. I don't know. I'm as I say, I think if you don't like Bellingham, you'd attack him with it. But I like Bellingham, so I'm going to say I quite like that. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, but with Saka, he hasn't got that.
People will use it.
I think Bellingham's got I don't think he's arrogant. I think he kind of just about tilts on that tightrope of arrogance to humility, because it's only the other day people were saying, "Oh, it's so great. He speaks so well. He's really articulate. He speaks 3 languages. You know, he's very, very good with the media." I don't think he is arrogant. I think he knows when to turn it on, when to. And this is what I mean. Off the field of play, Bellingham is the nicest person you will probably ever meet.
Yeah.
So when he's on the field, he turns into the guy. And I'm saying, is that what Saka's got to do? I'm not saying be a bastard off the pitch. I'm saying when you're on the pitch for 90 minutes, we're not friends. We're not friends here.
Jordan, I don't think his mum and dad would be very pleased with him. Mum and dad, if he scores for the Arsenal and starts grabbing his balls and things like that. You know,
right, not going that far. Not going that far. All right.
And I don't think it's necessary for him to do that. Like, you know what I mean? I just think that he just lets his football do his talking, and hopefully he'll carry on doing that. Like, you know, and you don't listen with those players like Bellingham. I don't know about you, but I think I'm always on the edge of him a little bit. Like, oh, is he going to do something crazy so he get himself sent off? I don't see that with Saka. I just think James said it the other day. He's right. He's just reliable in every sort of sense that he does. You know what I mean? From discipline, from everything there, and it is probably more of a compliment than what actually everybody's saying. I just listen. And the other thing is for us Arsenal fans, which I'm fed up with sticking up for him a little bit. We know what he's like week in, week out. We know how good a footballer he is. And when people like are texting me, like my Spurs mates, after 20 minutes saying, "I'll get Saka off," you know what I mean? Like, it irritates me that he's not appreciated the way I know he should be for the way that he plays the game and the way he plays.
Well, I think what's next for Saka is actually going to be so interesting in an Arsenal shirt, because, you know, Jordan says, add to the numbers. Saka will be thinking the exact same thing. Arteta will be too. Now, I think if you go back 2 years ago when Martinelli and Saka made Gary Neville's team of the year and Arsenal were blistering down both wings, I think part of the reason they were blistering down both wings is because they had both wings to play through. You had Odegaard, Saka, White on one side. You had Xhaka, Zinchenko, Martinelli on the other. Now, this last season, even though we got better as a team, I just felt, I haven't looked at the numbers, I felt we were much more right heavy. Like, it was our best football came down that side. The left, we never really quite got the right left back, the right midfield combination. We didn't even know if Martinelli or Trossard was our starting left player. Now, on the right, we knew White, Odegaard, Saka, same thing as the year before, and they built on it. What I'm going to find interesting about this next season is Saka and the team are going to have different challenges. So if we start with the team, it's going to be, well, do you get that left-hand side fixed, whether that's improving Martinelli or adding another winger and maybe getting Calafiori at left back and maybe adding midfield, which you want to do? By making that a threat, does that free up Saka more? Does that give Saka a little bit more, one-on-one time with fullbacks where he's able to take them on a little bit more? Does he get a little bit more freedom with the pitch? Or do Arsenal have to set up in a way that allows them to go, right, so much of our football's channeled through Saka, teams are looking to stop him, so let's take advantage of the left. Let's make sure the left takes advantage of whatever's left in that sense a little bit. And for Saka, the better he gets, the more he's already kicked a lot, but the more he gets kicked, the more he gets fouled, the more he's going to have to find solutions to that. Does he have to add a nastiness in the sense of, like, I don't want to say leave one on fullbacks, but, he almost, does he need to bite back a little bit? Does he need to take the fight physically to him? Because he does already and how strong he is as a player. But I don't know, it's just... They will pose more problems. They will try to do more to stop him, and he'll have to just look for more solutions.
Not necessarily leave on it. Like,
no.
When you beat a man, and he fouls, you get up and laugh at him. That's sort of a kind of. It doesn't have to be leaving him. Like, when you're that, he gone.
Yeah, Karen.
No, but when you're that, like, when you've got that type of kind of where you're so confident in yourself, because he should be now, and I think he is. You're going to get fouled, but get up, laugh. That'll make them angrier than you staying on the ground, and then people around you saying, "Oh, he needs more protection." Trust me, it will piss them off more if you get straight back up and just laugh and take them on again. and then again
That's it.
continue beating
Turkish,
them.
all due respect, that's easier said than done. I mean, these people are kicking him in the back of the ankle. These people they're going at him like, you know.
James, again, but with all due respect, he's not the first man to be kicked on the wings, bro. Right? This is what makes you a great player. You think Ronaldo and Messi weren't kicked on the wings? I'm not. Again, people don't. I'm not comparing, but every winger in history has been clipped at the heels, bro. Every winger.
Hold on, yeah, but we're not talking. Messi and Ronaldo didn't get up and laugh every time. Like, the reason I said leave one on him is like, listen, that's the furthest thing from my beliefs in football, right? Like, I'm not one to be like, yeah, get stuck into them. That is really not what I'm saying. But
why?
Because I'm not lead judges. But there is a point at which, like, he is fouled relentlessly in games, and it's back to goal. They come in the back of him. It's around the Achilles ankle area, or maybe high on the calf or whatever. He's down for a little bit. I agree. It's great to get up and laugh at them or whatever, but I'm just wondering whether there's got to be an element of like he's got to make them feel uncomfortable physically a little bit as well. And like I'm just throwing out other solutions. Like the better he gets, the more teams are going to throw different problems at him. So it's about him and Arsenal finding other solutions. And I don't know what that looks like is all I'm saying. I don't know. Does he become a player that is less about taking players on and doesn't see the ball as much, but is actually just making more runs in behind? I don't know. There's going to be an evolution in some way because football's become so tactical now.
He's one of those players, James, that's always going to attract fouls. That's the way he plays. You know what I mean? Like it is in his game to draw a player on, to try and beat him, to take the foul, draw the foul, whatever you want to do like that. But I think at the end of the day, and one of his biggest compliments is for his size, weight, and all that. I think he's 10 times stronger than his body should be. And I mean that he can hold players off. He can ride a challenge. He can take a challenge. And what I love about him, and listen, we've all played football. We all know, like, if there's a tricky little winger and all that, like, what's the first thing you say? Put one in on him. He might go out. He might drift out of the game or whatever, like, you know. And there are a lot of players that do drift out. He doesn't. The more stick he gets, the more he comes back for. I think it's a massive compliment. I really do, like, you know. And unfortunately, the way he plays, he probably will get injured one day because there are horrible defenders out there that will do it, but that is part of the game and the nature that he's in. And I that upper body strength and everything like that he's got is fascinating, really, because if you've ever met him or seen him, he ain't that big, but he can hold a player off. He holds off players that, you know, that are bigger and stronger than him. And what I do really love about him is that when you get tight against him, he can roll you. He rolls players so easily, like, you know. So he's always like the defender don't know what he's going to do. What I like about Saka, one of the best things about Saka is if you go tight, he can roll you. If you show him inside, he goes outside. If you show him outside, he can go inside. You know, he's got all of that to his locker, and he's still improving and getting better and better as he goes on. And that's the greatest thing about him and I think it is a magnificent thing. I think it should be applauded. A fantastic and wonderful temperament, because I'm pretty sure if someone was kicking me all the time, that I would have to react. I would. I know I would. I'd leave one in, like, as you say, like, you know what I mean? He doesn't. He just doesn't.
You would. You definitely would, yeah.
100%. I'm not. I know I would, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. But I also think that if people are fouling you, and I've always said this, and that is a compliment.
But we do play in a way where, like, how often does Ben White look up and give that ball into Saka to his feet with his back to goal or back to the defender, and you just know, and he's almost like, I know what's coming, but we'll win the foul and we've covered 10 yards more of the pitch, or like we play that ball inside for him to run onto, and again he gets clattered. I just feel, I don't know. This is what I mean about an evolution of the way maybe he's going to play next season, or the way Arsenal set up and use him next season. It just, I don't know. Yeah, I know wingers get fouled. I know that's part of being a good winger. But I just wonder what's like next for us to try and sort of evolve with the fact that, again, teams will keep trying to stop Saka because he's getting this good. What he's doing at the Euro, or what he just did at the Euros, is it's only more stock to his reputation. And next season, teams will plan to stop him even more. So what solutions do Arteta and Arsenal find? I felt towards the end of last season, Arteta played him more tucked in, which I thought was really interesting. He played more tucked in, Odegaard a bit deeper, and White was actually hugging the touchline himself. Do we see more of that? Do we see more of Saka nearer to goal, just to throw up something different for the opposition? So yeah, we'll see. But it's the problems of a very talented footballer.
Yeah, and the trajectory is bang on, both physically, mentally, on the pitch, off the pitch. So, none of us here are saying that he should have this already or he should have that already. It's all going smoothly, and I think the mantle is there now to grab the bull by the horns, as they say, and become the guy in a title winning side, in a great side. But we will see. And Jordan's been typing away frantically there. Have you done some research?
Oh, can you hear me? Sorry. So I was checking in. Sorry.
Are you checking
No,
in?
I wanted to say one final thing. Another one, I'm the one rushing this pod, and I'm the one doing the most talking. Sorry, you know me by now. I just wanted to finally say that I'm just glad that he's our player, because I know a lot of football fans don't subscribe to the idea that it matters who manages your team or who plays for your team. Just win. I don't care what they do off the field. I don't care who they are. Just win. He scores got. I'm not like that. I think character matters. I think personality matters. I think conduct matters. And look, a team of nice guys that aren't very good at football. I don't want that. I don't want that. But I do think it matters that Bukayo Saka is a player. I don't know Bukayo Saka, but I think it's important. I take pride in the fact that that's my player, because he's a guy that seems to live his life in the right way, seems to deal with people in the right way, and turns up to work, does his job, and goes about his business. And I'm just very proud. If he wasn't my player, I'd still feel a sense of joy towards him. But the fact he puts on an Arsenal shirt every single week, that's my player. He's not yours. You can borrow him for the Euros, but 9 months of the year, that's my player. That's Lee's player. That's James's guy. That's Turkish's player. He belongs to us. Do you know what I mean? I love that. But anyway,
I'm starting to feel that. I think I became an Arsenal fan. I keep saying 2006, and I haven't really felt that kind of pride in our players for a long, long time.
No.
Yeah, there were players obviously I was happy to have, and players that I thought were brilliant for Arsenal. But in terms of that actual they play for my club. Saka, I put Saliba in there. And to be fair, I could say that about most Arsenal players, so let's not do that before I start leaving people out and people go, what about him? What about him? But yeah, there are definitely players. When I see what Saliba's doing for France, what Saka just did for England, I've just sort of sat there just with a little drink of a hand going, that's right. We were telling you about these guys, but you lot didn't want to listen. And that, it's good to see them doing well. And where I sort of am when it comes to these international tournaments is go out and show them what you're about, or get knocked out immediately and come home. Now, I don't think Martinelli and Gabriel had the opportunity to show what they're about for Brazil. That's a shame. But okay, come back. Fine, have a pre-season. But if you are out there playing, yeah, go on. Show them what you're about. And for a few players now, we're really seeing them, show it, which is great.
We have to do a pod on Saliba as well, because I think there's a really interesting comparison between Bukayo Saka and William Saliba under the banner of what is world class and what is elite. And we won't do that now, but I think Saliba deserves a whole pod as well, because Saliba is special. Saliba's the one player at Arsenal I think is definitely better than Bukayo Saka. Saliba is a freak. That guy is a freak. But Saka's elite and amazing, and I love him. Saliba, we've got something special there.
He's generational, Saliba.
Oh, Turkish man. He's different. He is different.
I didn't know if he was agreeing with you there or not. For a sec, I thought he was about to.
He's Turkish.
My face is so straight. Nah, he's generational. For me, he's generational. For what he's showing anyway. What he's showing looks like he's on the verge of being a...
Can I just go back to the England thing? And I think, James, you just brought up a fantastic point there. When was the last time, following England, that you had two Arsenal players at the business end like that, that are really up the top end of it? We've always been on the peripheral of players in England's side. Do you know what I'm saying? There isn't been
96, 98, probably Adam Seaman.
Adams and Seaman, yeah, probably. But other than that, I can't remember really when England have had Ian Wright was fantastic for Arsenal, but was never really in the side. Paul Merson was in and out of the international. But these two are mainstays in a successful England's squad.
You ain't won nothing yet, mate. You ain't won nothing yet. Relax.
No, I know that. I know. I'm just saying. But like, I think that's why I'm more into England this time around, because we've got Arsenal players that are right at the forefront of it. Where I'm looking back at 1990, didn't have any players in the team then. Like, you know what I mean? 94, we didn't really like, you know, didn't even get to it. But like, I go back to the recent ones. It's been Gerrard, Lampard, players like Beckham, wasn't it? Like, you know what I mean? Never really Arsenal players in the.
Theo, Jack had a little brief period, but you're right. You're totally right. Campbell.
So was a. Yeah, but then there was a time when there was a debate between Terry and Ferdinand, wasn't it? Like, you know, and I think like probably even someone might not have even been a starter in the Euros 2004 if Rio didn't get banned. I just feel that this time now, you know, that we've got two mainstays in this England team, and it's enjoyable. It's you know, we should be proud of that.
Yeah, it's a good feeling, especially when you see Saka getting the all-important goal. 100%. James, you was going to say something. You're smiling there.
I always have a little laugh at Lee saying peripheral, but I don't know the word myself.
Well, you know the word peripheral, isn't it?
Sounds right to me. I'm Turkish.
I don't know. I ain't got a clue.
Periphery? Is that the Jordan? You're a journalist.
That's why I changed it to the main play.
You're on the periphery.
Sounds right.
On the periphery, yeah.
The periphery.
What did you say, Lee?
On the periphery. I don't know. Who cares? I know what I meant, and that's the end of it. Like, you know what I mean? Two main players.
Learn the fucking language before you support the fucking nation. Man. I'm tired of this shit.
You know what I mean?
I'm tired of it. Every week butchering the English language, man. What's going on, man? Flipping no.
Well, I can't help that, can I? You know what I mean? I didn't go to school. You know, Mum couldn't afford to send me to school.
But yeah, Saliba. Sorry, we do have to mention Saliba. But yeah, equally, you know, obviously this is not a podcast based in France, but Saliba is, you know, doing his thing for France. He's probably been, you know, up there with the very best centre backs of the tournament, and
up there,
player. Forget defender, player of the tournament. I would say
been the best.
Who's been better than Saliba so far this tournament?
What, all round?
Yeah,
I'd probably say Yamal. I'd probably say
no.
In a different way, I'd say.
I've been a casual of the Euros, but people are mentioning like Fabian Ruiz.
Cardiola's been up there. Obviously, we're out now, but our left back was definitely.
Well, that's what I mean. The guy, you can't give it to a guy that wasn't out in the quarters.
Who's still there? Okay.
I think you got to give it to someone that gets to the semis at least.
Yeah, that's
good
fair.
Tournament, but not better than Saliba. Saliba's been the best player at the tournament so far. Best player at the tournament so far.
I'm not going to argue too much.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, it's interesting though. But yeah, he does deserve a hell of a lot of praise for the way, because he's also someone who had, you know, that was the last stick people used to beat him with, which was, he doesn't start for France. You know, he can't be world class. He can't be elite. He started every single game, and we have one person out of 4 here who thinks he's been the player of the tournament, and 3 people that are not going to argue it.
Well, is he the best centre back in the world?
Well, I've just done a debate on that on DR Sports, and to be honest, I've backed it. I've backed it.
I'm going with you. I listen. I said this today, and I'll say it again now. At his age, I have not seen no one in an Arsenal shirt better. Now, I've seen Tony Adams when he was younger. He was fantastic. Sol Campbell. If you look back at how good Sol Campbell was, he wasn't as good as Saliba at his age. I look at Martin Keown. Martin Keown was a fantastic defender. Wasn't like, you know, Rio Ferdinand. You want to go on to Rio Ferdinand? He was at West Ham Leeds before going to Man United and being a mainstay. Maldini, I think you'd put into that category that probably was when you first see him. But listen, when I first see Saliba, I could not believe what I was watching. I watched a lot of football for a long while. The size of him, the pace of him, the way he plays, the way he goes through lines with the ball. I just think he's just exceptional. And he's also put his game up another level by going across to the left-hand side of the back 4 at France, you know, and nailing it, absolutely nailing it. You know, I just think he's just a wonderful, wonderful player. And I honestly think that if you said to him, do you know what, go and play in midfield, I think he could. I really do think he could. I think he's that good.
Isn't it funny how football works sometimes, right? Because when we signed in the summer of 2019, the club was a mess. Let's have it right. Like, we didn't have the structure we had. I think Edu was just arriving and might have even arrived after we'd signed Saliba. Arteta wasn't there. We didn't have the structure. I don't think the Cronkies had a plan as much as that. Loads of the backroom staff has changed. Richard Garlick certainly wasn't there. A couple others. We signed Pepe for 72 million. We signed Ceballos on loan. David Luiz came in. Tierney was that window. And yet somehow we managed to end up with William Saliba for 27 million. Like, that was the deal we did do.
Yeah.
Like, when you reflect on that, that's like, I find that really weird that was such a smart decision amongst what was some hits and misses, to be polite.
It's a real diamond in the dirt because that window turned out to, at the time, it looked like that window was great, but
I was happy with the window at the time.
Yeah, it turned out to be terrible.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought Jordan was going to say something. All right, let's move on. Comments of the week. Is everyone prepared?
Yeah, I am.
I was all slagging Jordan off. Really, it was a bit harsh.
Well, it's a good one. I've hands up. I've not seen it this week. I've not got one. So sorry. So fill me in. Come on, throw them at me. Throw them at me. Come on. What they say?
I just want to say something serious about that. Like, we're all for banter, and like, look, Jordan might look at it and go, "Look, it's not that deep," which is.
I'm gonna have a look now. Go on, James. I'm listening.
But like, this is for everyone, or just whatever YouTube video you're watching, guys. If you're gonna leave comments, which of course we love them, but just ball knowledge is shocking. Like, can we have a bit more? The first time it's quite funny, like, Jordan again on to you. But like, it gets to a point where it's like, what do you disagree with?
Cheers.
Let's chat in the comments. Like, just me? Am I? Maybe I'm being sensitive.
I'm with you on this, James. I felt a little bit offended by some of the comments. You know, like I think, like Jordan. You know, like, listen, I love Jordan. He's got an opinion, and I think that his opinion, he backs it up. I'll give him that. It's a load of crap. We all know that, but he backs it up.
He backs it up with more crap.
But he does back it up, you know. And I think
you're all spot on. We're not saying that.
But he should be applauded for that. He should be applauded for that.
All right, shut up, you. I'll tell you what. I'll read through them myself. So top to bottom, just a few. The guy on the top right is clueless.
Yeah.
Jordan talking down on Calafiori for the guy, I can't remember his name. All banter aside, Jordan's football knowledge is actually shocking and embarrassing. Jordan's book, wow, they really came me this week. Jordan doesn't think there will be a lot of signs this summer, so expect a lot of summer signings. That was funny. Get Jess on for Jordan.
That one.
That was funny. I love when Jordan makes up budget, then not aware of tangible. That doesn't make sense. I see why Jordan is not involved on the other AFTV content.
That one is the one I had. Oh. Yeah, T Nars. That's the guy in it. His name's T Nars. Yeah.
Jordan just forgetting 50 games where Rice was arguably our best player. I literally said on the last podcast, for half the season, he got almost all man of the matches. Listen, I like the comments, yeah? I like the comments because it gets everyone involved. Everyone's got an opinion. I've got strong opinions. I don't mind if people disagree with what I say. In fact, I welcome it because that's how you get debate going, right? So if I give an opinion and someone thinks that's stupid, I disagree with that, I'm all right with that. I'm okay with that. But like, what I don't understand is what James has said. You give a response, but you don't give it any kind of flesh. Like, if you think I'm talking rubbish, cool. Tell me why I'm talking rubbish.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I do talk a lot of rubbish. Tell me why. That's all. Just tell me why.
Yeah, I think this is something that we've talked about social media a lot, and especially in recent weeks and months. But I think if people are gonna, there's one thing going like, haha, blah blah, had a shocker, and we can all laugh about it. But when people are sort of really kind of coming for you, it's like, why don't you just let us know what you didn't agree with? And like, we read the comments, like we said, like we'll talk about it. And some of you are brilliant. Yeah, in the comments, thank you.
Yeah, some are idiots. Like, so that's why I don't get angry about it, because some people are genuinely stupid. So there's no point in me getting angry at people that are stupid. Do you know what I mean? There's lots of lovely people support Arsenal. We have some fantastic subscribers. Keep them coming in. Keep watching. But there's people that are just really, really stupid. So I don't really get angry at the people that are stupid, that are saying things to me like, you don't know what you don't be talking about. That's mean. That's mean. Yeah, so keep it coming, because listen, it's all part of the debate. Opinions are all welcome, yeah, we're here for it.
I got another comment here. This one's from Malik. It says, "Love the pod, guys. Perfect balance of views. James optimist, Lee emotional, Turkish realist, Jordan pessimist. Keep up the great work, guys. Come on, you Gunners."
Accurate.
Yeah, I like that one because I had that one as well. Like, so
Did you?
Yeah, I got another one here.
You read the one I had, Jordan. It just made me giggle. Aaron saying Jordan doesn't think there'll be a lot of signings this summer, so expect a lot of signings.
Yeah, there'll be like 9 signings coming in. This
like that's funny. That's clever. We get it. That's good.
And I also don't pretend to like know that as fact. Like, I've not been told Jordan there's only 2 coming in. It's just I've got a thinking based off of PSR. We've made some big signings in the last couple of windows. Do you know what I mean? It's just my kind of opinion based off of tangible bits of evidence, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Cool. Leads have already been read out apparently, so that is comments of the week wrapped up.
But keep them coming in. We love them
for sure. Keep them coming for sure. Hit the like button. Have we hit 1,000 likes? If we have, make it 2,000. If we haven't, then what the hell is going on? Because we've passed an hour now. Jordan's got a flight to catch. James is about to interrupt. Go ahead. Let's make Jordan late for his flight. Why not?
We should one day maybe see if like commenters and stuff want to do like a roast of the Fourever Arsenal podcast.
Oh, that would be good.
Like
a mean tweets kind of thing.
Yeah, but I'm thinking more. We'd have to think about that, but that's something to work on.
All right, cool. We'll talk about it
behind. I like that idea. I like that idea. That's good.
That's it, people. Hit the like button. Leave your comments for comments of the week. We'll be back when we're back. And yeah, love for the love as always. Make sure you subscribe, put a notification bell on, and hope you have enjoyed. Peace.